So there are three types of skeletons: exoskeletons, endoskeletons, and hydrostatic skeleton. So the first one is exoskeleton. It's made up from hard and rigid substance, which is chitin and calcium. Calcium provides protection, support, and ability to swim to mollusks and animals such as seashells and oysters. Chitin provides protection, support, and allow movement in animals of phylum Arthropoda such as insects and crabs. Second one is endoskeleton. It provides support, protection, and allows movements. It is comprises of bones and cartilage, which is rigid for the attachment of body muscles and tissues. Individual bone components are bound to each other by the ligaments at the joints. The last one is hydrostatic skeleton. It provides supports and enable movements in animals such as earthworm and caterpillars. It is not compressible for muscle contraction. The enclosed fluid from a skeleton produced from the support of fluid pressure in space surrounded by a network of muscle. The last one is necessity of skeletal system. There are 6 necessity of skeletal system. The first one enables movement and locomotion, provides support, storage of various types of mineral, protect tissues and internal organs, give shape, and last one, bone marrows produce red blood cells.
Now we are going to look at the musculoskeletal system of humans. The first part we have the axial skeleton, and the second part we have the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, the rib cage, and also the vertical column. While the appendicular skeleton consists of pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, upper limb, and also lower limb. Now let's take a look at the pectoral girdle. We have 2 parts, which is the scapula and also the clavicle. And then we take a look at the rib cage. We have 2 parts also, which is the sternum and also the rib. Now we are going to take a look at the pelvic girdle. It consists of 3 parts, which is the pubis, ischium, and ilium. Now we will see the vertebral column. We will explain the vertebral column later. Now let's take a look at the upper limb. We have 6 parts. The first part is the humerus, the second part is the radius, and the third part is ulna. The radius and the ulna is side by side. Then we have the metacarpals, then we have the carpus, and also the phalanges. Now we are going to look at the lower limbs, which is unlike the upper limb, which has 6 parts. The lower limb has 7 parts. The first part is the femur, second part is tibia and fibia. Tibia and fibia is side by side. Then we have the tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges, and the patella. Now I'm going to explain about the human vertebral column. We have 7 types of vertebrae. The first one is the atlas vertebra. The atlas vertebra is the first cervical vertebra. The vertebra has large neural canal, a small spinous process, a pair of transverse foramina but with no centrum. Then the vertebra articulates with the skull. Now we are going to take a look at the axial vertebra. It is the second cervical vertebra. The vertebra has a large spinous process, a small transverse process, and also a pair of transverse foramina. It has an odontoid process that articulates with the facets of the atlas vertebra neural canal. Now let's move on to the cervical vertebrae. The cervical vertebrae possesses short spinous process, small centrum, wide and short transverse process, and a pair of transverse foramina. Now we are going to take a look at the thoracic vertebrae. It possesses a long spinous process. The spinous and the transverse process serve as an attachment sites for muscle and also ligaments. The transverse process have facets that articulates with the ribs. Next, lumbar vertebrae. It is the biggest and the strongest vertebrae. It possesses a short spinous process. It also possesses a large centrum to bear the weight of the lower back of the body. Now let's take a look at the 2 vertebrae that are side by side each other. The first one we have the sacral vertebra, the second one we have the caudal vertebra. Sacral vertebra. It has 5 vertebrae fused together to form a triangular bones, while the caudal vertebrae, 4 bones fused together to form a triangular structure which is pointed at one end. Now we are going to look at the similarities and differences between vertebrae. The similarities: all vertebrae have spinous and transverse process, a centrum, and neural kernel. The centrum is except atlas vertebra. Now the differences: cervical vertebrae, it has short spinous process, wide and short centrum, small centrum, a pair of transverse foramina. Thoracic vertebrae, it has long spinous process, long transverse process, medium-sized centrum, but no transverse foramen. Now we are going to look at the lumbar vertebrae. It is short spinous process, short transverse process, light centrum, but no transverse foramina.
There are three types of joints that we will learn. First, immovable joints. Immovable joints is suture at skull cranium. Second, slightly movable joints. Slightly movable joints is cartilage disc between the vertebrae. And third, freely movable joint, ball and socket joint. Now I will explain further about freely movable joints. The capsules is the fibrous tissue that encloses and provides protection to the joint. Cartilage serves as the cushion to the joint. It absorbs shock and reduces friction between the bones. It also protects the bones from wearing out. The synovial membrane secretes synovial fluid into the synovial cavity. The synovial fluid serves as a lubricant that reduces the friction between the bones. There are two types of freely movable joints that I will explain. First, ball and socket joint. Second, hinge joint. Ball and socket joint allows rotational movement in all directions. It allows arm and leg to swing in a circular motion. For example, shoulder joint between humerus and pectoral girdle. Second, hinge joint. It allows movement of bones in one plane. It allows lower leg to swing back and forth. For example, phalanges of the fingers and toes. Skeletal muscle is bundles of muscle fibers with large supply of nerves and blood vessels. It works in pair and acts in opposite direction. One contracts and one relaxes, known as antagonistic muscle. For example, bicep and tricep. Ligaments hold bones together. It is strong, elastic, and tough connective tissue bundles. It provides support and strength to joints. It allows bone to bend at joints. Next tendon, it consists of strong fiber. It's not elastic but flexible.